Hi, everyone. How are you all today? I hope everything is good. Back again in another video, guys. You've probably heard the phrase, we can't choose who we fall in love with, right? Well, let me tell you that's nonsense. Because there are certain types of people who, if you're not careful, can ruin your life faster than a plane crash. So today we're going to discuss the types of people you should never fall in love with. No matter how good-looking or charming they are, avoid them. And believe me, if you listen to this until the end, you'll be grateful because you've saved yourself from unnecessary heartbreak. Okay, let's get straight to it. The first one, the king, queen of drama. At first, it seems exciting. There's always something happening, fights with friends, conflicts at work, endless drama. At first, you think, wow, he's passionate, emotional, needs someone who can understand him. But in reality, that drama is not something happening in his life. That drama is his own life, and you're just a spectator of the latest episode. I'll tell you this, the drama won't just be outside your relationship. Once he runs out of problems out there, you'll be the next target. Suddenly, you become the villain in their story. You reply to a chat a little late, and it explodes. You didn't say exactly what he wanted to hear, so it turned into a disaster. Suddenly, you're getting scolded about something you didn't even realize was a problem. So, how do you recognize this type from the beginning? Here are the red flags. First, he always fights with someone every week. There's always someone he has a problem with. Friends, exes, bosses, even his own family. This has become a pattern. Everyone in his life has problems except him. Second, small problems can turn into big dramas. You forgot to call? Get ready for World War III. A small, insignificant thing can suddenly turn into a tragedy. Third, gossip and negative vibes are his sustenance. Pay attention to how he talks about others. Does every story involve putting someone down? Does he seem happy when others are in trouble? If so, for sure that negativity will spread to you. Listen carefully. Being in a relationship with this type is not just tiring, it's toxic. Eventually, you'll lose mental energy. You'll get really tired, and your self-confidence will drop. You're going to feel like you're always wrong, even though the problem isn't with you. So, what should you do? Just bail, man. Realize, dude, you're not his psychologist. You're not the one who fixes his life. You are not his emotional punching bag. You need a partner, not a source of stress. The right person isn't someone who makes your life like a soap opera, but someone who brings you peace. Okay, continue. Have you ever met someone who seems really sweet, super attentive, speaks softly, and is always there for you, but over time, you start to feel that something is off? Well, congratulations. You just met the manipulative person disguised as nice. This type is dangerous because their toxicity is not audible but felt. He won't shout or insult you openly. No, she's more subtle. His manipulation is like a hidden whisper behind sweet words and caring behavior. From the outside, he looks like the perfect partner, but on the inside, you're being played like a pawn on a chessboard. How do you recognize this type? Here are the red flags. First, a guilt trip at a godly level. Listen carefully to the way he talks like, well, I guess I care too much, or I didn't expect you to do this to me after everything I've done. It doesn't seem malicious, right? But actually, it's a weapon to make you feel guilty and eventually give in. The second one, compliments with a sting. He would say, wow, you look cool today. I almost forgot that you usually don't care at all about your appearance. At first glance, it sounds like a compliment. But if you listen carefully, it's actually a jab. And thirdly, always playing the victim. Whatever happens, he is never wrong. You can clearly see that he's the one causing the problem, but suddenly, you're the one apologizing. He's really good at turning the situation around to make himself look like a victim who needs pity. Hey guys, the tactic is always the same. He makes you feel special, understood, and appreciated. At first, you will be praised, noticed, treated like you are the most important person in their life. But once you get addicted to that validation, that's when the game begins. The compliments became less frequent, but you kept chasing after them to get his support again. So, his affection is conditional. You have to prove yourself first. Slowly, you start thinking about how to make him come back like before, and boom, you're trapped. So the solution is, realize the game and leave. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone to receive love. If someone makes you feel like you have to prove your worth, it means they don't truly love you. Someone who is sincere doesn't play chess with your heart. Okay, let's continue. Well, have you ever met someone who seems incredibly charming, great at conversation, and always makes you feel like the most special person in the world? But over time, you realize something is off. At first, he seemed ambitious, classy, and had good taste. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Well, he's not looking for a partner. He's looking for a foothold. Status, connections, money, lifestyle. That's what he really aims for. You are not true love. You're just a stepping stone. As soon as you can no longer give him what he wants, he leaves. Next target. The problem is this type is really good at disguising themselves. You won't immediately realize that you're being used. Here are the red flags you need to pay attention to. First, obsessed with status and appearance. If from the beginning of getting to know each other he already asks, "Where do you work? What car do you have? How many followers does he/she have?" You have to be cautious. A healthy relationship is built on connection, not statistics. Secondly, they are more interested in your connections than in you personally. Try to pay attention. He gets really excited when you mention important people. Or he starts frequently, saying he wants to be introduced to your influential friends. Be careful. That's a sign he's measuring how far he can rise through you. The third one, high expectations but minimal effort. He wants to eat at fancy places, go on luxurious vacations, and receive expensive gifts, but the question is, what does he bring to this relationship? If all she gives is a sweet smile and a little validation while you bend over backward to pay for everything, that's already a big red flag. The classic trick? He'll make you feel like a king. Say that he supports your dreams. Looks like the perfect partner. Don't give access just because you got too comfortable. Don't be afraid to leave. If all the signs are already visible, don't look for reasons to stay. People like this won't change. You're just going to get more sucked in until you realize it's all too late. The point is, people like this don't love you. He loves what you have. And if he can leave you easily, it means he never intended to stay from the beginning. Take care of yourself and don't give access to someone who just comes to ride along. Well, moving on. Have you ever met someone whose life is like a never-ending soap opera? Every story that comes out of his mouth is always about how unfair the world is to him. Exes are all jerks, the boss is a tyrant, friends are all disloyal. Basically, his life is filled with nothing but suffering, and strangely, he has never been at fault even once. Meet the perpetual victim, the type of person who is really good at making you feel pity and baiting you into becoming their savior. At first, you think, "Oh my God, their life is so hard. How pitiful." But over time, you realize this isn't a coincidence, it's a pattern. Well, before you get caught in an endless drama roller coaster, here are the signs you're dealing with a perpetual victim. First, their exes always become the villains. Every time she talks about her past relationships, her exes are always monsters, cheaters, gaslighters, manipulative. Basically, none of them are good. Okay, it's possible that he has met one or two toxic people, but if all his exes are trash, the problem might not be with them, but with him. Second, never admits to being wrong. Whatever the problem is, there must be someone else to blame. Deadline I. For the work is missed. The boss doesn't understand the situation. Arguing with a friend? His friend is the overdramatic one. Fighting with you? You who are not perceptive. Basically, he never makes mistakes. Step 3. His life is like a never-ending curse. Every time you meet, there's always a sad story that strangely appears just when you start getting busy. He suddenly gets into big trouble and needs attention. You start to doubt your relationship. Bomb, he told me how everyone has left him and you're the only one who cares. Well, what's exhausting about people like this is that they don't want to change. So if you think you can save him or help him break out of this cycle, sorry to say you're going to be disappointed. Because the truth is, he doesn't want to get out. Being a victim gives her attention, affection, and most importantly, control. You will feel attached to him because you are afraid of leaving someone who is going through a tough time. So if you start noticing these signs, the only way out is to leave. Don't let your pity be used as a tool to control your life. You're not the hero in his story. And believe me, you don't want to be part of a never-ending drama, right? Okay? Let's continue. Yeah, guys, the type of girl or guy who makes your commitment unclear. Have you ever met someone whose attitude is like free Wi-Fi in a cafe? Sometimes connected, sometimes disappears on its own. Makes you confused. What does this person really want? Today, he seems so affectionate, calling you first, inviting you to meet, giving you attention, making you feel special. The next day, he disappears like a ninja, suddenly busy, needs space, not ready for commitment. But strangely, even though he says he's not ready, he still doesn't want you to leave. Well, here it is, the type of commitment phobe in disguise, meaning they are afraid of commitment but still want you to stay. How does he do it? He gives you just enough attention to keep you chasing after him, but he never really claims you. So, how do you recognize the signs that you're dealing with? This commitment phobe? He sends mixed signals, hot and cold. Today he bombards you with messages, gives you attention, invites you to meet. But the next day suddenly goes slow, busy, disappears. Like a roller coaster, always up and then suddenly down. Likes to chase, but doesn't want to be chased back. At first, he was the one chasing you. It was so exciting, flirty, full of effort. But when you start to get serious and invest more, he starts to pull away. Like a game he likes to play, but once he wins, he gets bored. How do you handle someone like this? Call him, the one who's afraid to speak. I feel like you're starting to distance yourself. Every time this relationship gets more serious, can we talk about it? No? If he really cares, he will make an effort to explain, set boundaries, set limits. Don't let him control the course of the relationship. If you want something clearer, say it. And if he keeps covering it up when you need clarity, maybe he's really not the right person for you. Don't chase. You think that the more you chase him, the more he will change? You're dead wrong. The more you chase, the more he pulls away. So give him time to think for himself. Let him realize, oh, I can't keep hanging on to him. So guys, commitment doesn't mean he's a bad person. But he's also not someone who can give you certainty, and you deserve a relationship that doesn't make you feel like you're in a tug of war all by yourself. So don't waste your time chasing something unclear. If he really wants to be serious, he'll show it not just with words, but with actions. And finally, bro, okay, we've reached the last type, and it's just as annoying, the controlling perfectionist. At first, he seems sweet. He is very attentive, remembers small details that you yourself forget, organizing everything as if their life is super orderly. But over time you realize his attention turns into rules. The longer it goes on, the more absurd it becomes, and without realizing it, you start to feel like an intern in your own relationship. Characteristics of a control freak perfectionist. 1. You are managed like a work project. Starting from the eye, way you dress, eat, talk, to how you place the spoon in the sink, everything has its rules. If you make a small mistake, there's a long lecture. given the reason, I want the best for you. I'm like this because I care about you. But why does love feel like pressure? 2. Criticism outweighs praise. You will often hear, you should do it this way, or why can't you do it like I said? Praise is extremely rare. 3. If something doesn't go according to plan, panic and throw a tantrum. Date plans canceled? Panic. You're 5 minutes late? Sulking. In short, if something doesn't meet their expectations, be prepared for an emotional storm. At first, you might think, wow, he's really invested in this relationship. But over time, you realize he isn't investing in you, but in the version of you that he has created in his mind. No matter how hard you try, the standard always rises. No matter how much you change, there's always something lacking, until you finally start losing yourself. How do I get out of this trap? 1. Realize that this is not love, but control. Love is accepting you with all your strengths and weaknesses. Control makes you feel never enough. Differentiate. 2. Set boundaries early on. If you feel uncomfortable, speak up. Don't be afraid to let me know if you need space to be yourself. 3. Don't be afraid to leave. If you keep feeling like a puppet that has to obey for the relationship to keep going, ask yourself, is this a relationship or a prison? So guys, you deserve a partner, not a supervisor. A relationship is a partnership, not a competition to become the perfect version he wants. So if you encounter this type, set your boundaries. Or better yet, just leave while farting. Okay guys, that's it for today. Hope this can help you. Always stay healthy and have a pleasant day. As usual guys, value yourself above your feelings. Capture what you feel and remember what you deserve. If you want your relationship to be much better and healthier, respect and treat yourself well first. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video, friends.